Well, that was our video where where you saw our students. I have next to me more students for our third part of the program. My colleague Pieter Loef, a very experienced businessman who used to work a couple of years, not only a couple, not even more years for Heineken. So he knows a lot about doing business and abroad. He will guide his students through the next program, which is about the projects that they're actually working on. So the students will explain a bit what a business challenge is, how it works, what are they actually doing every day here at Zuid. Peter, the floor is yours.
Mieke, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the very nice introduction. I'm sitting here together with four students, and before we start and discussing a little bit about business challenges and how we apply business challenges in our education, I like to start with doing a small introduction of the students. So let me start with Anouk, our female student on the left side of me.
Hi, I'm Anouk. I'm from the Netherlands. I've chosen this study to gain more knowledge about entrepreneurship because that's mostly where my interests are. I enjoy working here with a lot of students and making new connections and helping each other out.
Thank you, Anouk. Where are you from, Anouk?
Maastricht.
You're a hometown player, right?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Okay. Idroy, can I give you the floor?
Hi, my name is Adroy. I'm originally from the Philippines, but I moved here when I was very young, so I'm more Dutch than anything else now. I'm currently the head of a student organization, Anactis, here at Hogeschool Zuid. And I have my own company in the Philippines. And that's also the reason why I joined international business, to develop my skills as an owner.
Very good. Ro.
Okay, hello, I'm Roel. I'm Dutch, but I've always lived in Belgium with my parents. In high school, I already know I love doing business, everything what has to do with business. Therefore, I wanted to do go to a business school, like this school, for example. And the other reason I am going to I went to Zuid is for the international part. I really love the internship and the exchange we can do in year 3. And just on the Maastricht, there are a lot of international students. You can work on your network, meet new people, and that's the main reason why I'm here.
Thank you very much, Raoul. And Timothy.
Hi, my name is Timothy. I'm from Curaçao. And the reason why I came to study at Zuid is because I really liked the program. And I wanted to learn about business and how to actually apply the knowledge I learned here in real-life business situations.
Thank you very much. Well, I was already introduced by Mieke, joined Zuid about a year ago, and before that I was very much in business myself. So we talked briefly, and Frank and Mieke talked a lot about these business challenges and using these business challenges in order to practice your business skills. Can you tell me a little bit, Idroy, what's a business challenge for you?
So a business challenge is where a company comes to us with a problem, in short, and we have to solve that problem by doing research about the company, also internally and externally, and based on that, solve the problem that they have. For example, we have Hulpreneur at the moment, and their problem is that they want to be more fluid in the future, and that's why they want a 10-year strategy from us. So to solve that, we looked at what Hulpreneur had right now, what they could improve the coming 10 years, and how to implement those changes. But a business challenge can vary based on a company, since every company has a different problem, and it's up to the students to decide how they tackle that problem.
That's a good question, tackling the problem. I'm looking to Raoul. How did you tackle this problem as a group?
Yeah, in a business challenge, we work with a group. Last blog, I worked with a group of friends because I met them last year in the first year. And this year we were again in the same class, and we were really friends, so we partnered together, worked in a group. And yeah, everyone has a role, but but it will be one organization, one group. So when somebody is working on, for example, sales or marketing, he works on it individually, but like we did at Last Block, at the end of the week, we present it to the other team members, and they say, they give feedback, they assess it, they say, this can be done better, this can be done in another way, I think it could be better this way. So we learn from each other, we help each other, we give feedback to each other before we also work together with the teacher, but before we give the end product, the final product to the teacher.
Very nice. And you talk about your group became more a group of friends than a group of colleagues.
Yes, exactly.
We're working very close together, even though you all have very different backgrounds and cultures and even educations. And Timothy, how did you experience that difference in all these cultures?
It's difficult at first. But you get used to it. You have to understand where everyone's coming from, because some people. I come from a culture where if I'm maybe 15 to 30 minutes late, it's okay. But if I'm 15 or 30 minutes late here, it could be a problem. Or we were working in first year with a friend of mine from Japan, and a lot of times we were talking about these vague concepts, and he wanted something really structured. And you have to take all of these aspects into account when you're working with different cultures.
Very nice, yeah, and I think there is even value in learning from the different cultures.
Yes, there is.
And we just talked a lot about how we organize ourselves intern, but we also collaborate very strongly together with other companies. Anouk is sitting here on the left side of me. She had, prior to you guys, their own challenge with the Gulpener Brewery. Anouk, can you tell us a little bit about that challenge and how you worked on that challenge?
Yeah, I've worked on this challenge with Carola, a classmate of mine who's also become a very close friend to me. So we've enjoyed this challenge a lot because we were given a lot of freedom. Gulpener had this brewery house where they could let people taste it and let people do tastings and tours. And the concept we did was, what if we literally pick up the house and would place it somewhere else in the world? In our we chose Singapore because that's where our interest and research was guiding us towards. And in this case, we did the research, we spoke with people there, we had contact, we figured out how do you place it there, what are the cultural aspects you need to look at. Oh, and there are also taxes, because that could be different if you go abroad. And you look at legal, you look at it as a project and you know really like, oh, I need to do taxes, oh, I need to do legal. It's really, oh, I want this and I want to create this, but what do I need to do in order to create it? And that's what makes the challenges a lot of fun. You cannot predict everything, and sometimes things come on your path and you're like, oh, I learned something new and this is how it works. And this makes it also a really unique opportunity.
But that sounds very interesting, because you talk about a lot of different aspects of business, right? You talk about legal aspects, you talk about finance aspects, you talk about supply chain related aspects. So you combine everything together in just one challenge?
Yeah, actually we do, because it's not one challenge, because I can make an amazing marketing plan and have a really good plan, like, okay, this is going to be it. And then when I'm going to look at the supply chain issues or finance, I'm going to be like, okay, but this is not even possible. So you can't take action on something where you don't know the rest of. So you need to see it as a full picture instead of, oh, this is one block and this is one block. And when you look at it as a whole, it also starts to make sense, because that's what doing business is. It's a combination of everything you need to take into account, and you can't just do one thing and then shove it to the next department. No, because the next department will also have their issues. And
I think you're absolutely right. And it was quite interesting, because if we talk about taking up the Gulpener Brewery or the Brouwlokaal and move it to a country like Singapore, where Gulpener actually is very locally oriented, how did the owners react on your idea?
At first they were a bit surprised, because this is not a usual idea they would think of. We've had a talk with them and they were actually pleasantly surprised. They were really interested in the fact how we would do it and the outcomes We got some really good feedback, and they actually enjoyed what we did so far. And unfortunately, Corona is here, so moving something abroad is quite hard at this moment. But they really enjoyed it.
So as young students, you were able to inspire this owner of this brewery, family-owned brewery. They do it for many, many years already. And you brought on some new ideas, right?
Yeah.
Well, I know they loved it because it was also one of the reasons they were so excited about our school that they invited us for this next assignment. So that was really something. Talking a bit about next assignments, because if we talk about moving from one assignment to the other assignment, we're now wrapping up the Grobner assignment. How are we going to move on, Idroy?
So for next assignment, we actually have to find our own company. So we make steps to find different companies. We did that by making a commercial on LinkedIn, targeting the companies that we were interested in and having meetings with them. But also we're looking at the companies that we already knew personally. For example, if somebody has an uncle that works for a company, or if any other person has a connection nearby, we could use that. And for the next block, we are focusing on sales. So we're also looking at the companies that are in dire need for changes in their sales department. So we found one, and yeah, we're making personal meetings. We're having personal meetings with that person. Yeah.
That's very interesting. So even before you start the next block, you already start interviewing and using LinkedIn to find your own companies and have companies applying to you rather than you apply to the companies, more or less, right?
It's a two-sided
it worked
way,
two ways.
yeah.
It's very interesting. Raoul, how did that go with your next challenge?
Yes, it's a bit the same. We in our group, we first started to go through our network. Which companies do we know? Do we know people that have a good position in a company that needs to solve a problem or something? And we came to an interesting company which is mainly focusing on supply chain, and they did now found a new technique or system to run a supply chain, but they now want to market their supply chain, to place it into market. So therefore, we sent them a message, and they said, yeah, you can help us. That would be nice. So next block we are working on to find a way to place the new system or new product in the market. How they best could do it. What's the best way to get the most sales possible, like that.
That's also a very interesting one. So we're talking about you helping a company with a new product to position on the market.
Yes.
As students and find out how to do that. So there must be quite some trust between you and the company as well in a very early stage. So how did you come to that company?
A friend of mine who's become a friend last year. He knew his father knew somebody with the company. So I guess the owner of the company, and he said, yeah, well, you are young students, you are probably creative, come with new ideas, so that's why he trusts us.
And I fully agree with that. Being a teacher now for 1 year, I have seen a lot of creativeness from my students. And to be honest, I learned as much from you guys as I hoped you learned from me in that perspective. So, yes. Timothy, how is that going in your next challenge?
Yeah, my next challenge, we haven't found a company yet.
Right.
But the process of finding the company is what we're doing right now. Mm-hmm. We're looking towards what company do we want to work with?
Right.
What kind of problem do we want to tackle? So I don't know how we're going to do this right now, but
you have some clear interests,
yes.
right? Some clear areas you want to search.
Yes.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that one?
I want to move forward with a company that's interested in blockchain technology, AI, machine learning, and all of that. My group members, I'm not sure if they're interested in what I'm interested in.
Right.
But I'm going to try to push my ideas.
Well, as you know, you're very close to my heart if you talk about these kind of ideas. And I typically believe that in the future, you will see companies developing in a different way and organizing in a different way.
Yes.
And this connects very well to that. So I think that will be a very interesting area to investigate.
Yes, it will be.
So I know we also received already a question
yes.
from the audience. Can you pass on that question, please?
Okay. Robin asked, What if your English is not perfect, but you can speak it? Is that enough?
Yeah, so who wants to answer that one?
I think I can answer that one because when I had to choose between international business or another studies, I was also very doubting about my English. Because you're in an environment that is international, you will speak English and you will improve around during the time, and everyone learns on their own space. But because it's so international, you will automatically like try and learn. As long as you're open to learn new things, I don't think you have a really high level to start with if you are open to improve and open to speak it.
Absolutely right. Anybody that wants to add to something that?
No, I agree with her. Like your English will improve rapidly. You're working daily with. You have to read articles. You have to speak to other people, and so by doing all of these, like we can say they're menial things. Unconsciously, your English will just like improve.
Any other questions?
Carlene asked, how is it working with real companies?
Oh,
Yeah, I can answer that question. Working with real companies is really nice because, oh, sorry, because when you work on a paper case, something in a book, you don't get the feeling of working in the working field, working with real people, a real business, the real business field. So when you work with a real company, you can provide them with your end products, and they really benefit from it. So and they treat you like employees. They treat you like they're your employee. They trust you. They provide you with information, and you work with them together. That's a nice part, I think.
yeah, and as I hear you saying it, it's almost like being a consultant for that company, right?
Yes,
and
sure.
having quite some added value. So, and we do that as from the first day in our education, right?
The very first day.
Yeah. Next question.
Tom asks, how do you find a business challenge?
Well, we already talked a little bit about it, but maybe we can explain it a little bit further. Anouk, how do you find your business challenges?
I think it's also important to figure out what you're like yourself, because you can take on any challenge, but what Frank said, if you don't like it yourself, then you will not get as much out of it as you would like. So once you start and try some things, you'll figure out what is your fit. And how do you find it? You contact companies, you contact your network, and just a lot of talking and just presenting who you are, because there's always added value in what you do.
I really like to build on that as well, because it's not only that you come and ask for something. I think you students also have something to offer and something to bring. And I think companies are really, really open to learn, particularly if we talk about things like creativity, new ways of thinking to the business. That's really the added value I have perceived at many companies.
Yeah. Olivia asks, how international are the challenges you work on?
So I think it depends per challenge and what you choose. Because, for example, we can choose our own company. And if that company is only located in the Netherlands, then you won't have that international feeling. But you can also ask a Japanese company if you could help them out. So it really depends on you, on what you want as a person and what the company is.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, all four of you. I think there was a very good discussion, good insights for the students. I know due to time we have to move on to the next block. So I give the floor back to Mieke.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for helping, giving a little bit more insight about the business challenges.